Welcome to the Eureka Pitch Night for this September. It's hard to believe it's already September 10th. I'm thrilled to have you all here. My name is Lisa Getzler. I'm the Executive Director of the Baker Institute, and I am pleased to be serving as MC tonight for the pitches. Our guest reviewers this evening are Alan Snyder, Vice President and Associate Provost for Research and Graduate Studies at Lehigh, and Lauren Beausoleil, Senior Manager, Creative and Development at 12NYC, and founder of Bracelets to Benefit, a company she launched as a sophomore at Lehigh. She also participated in Baker programs, notably the one now called Hatchery, which at the time was called Launch BC. Alan and Lauren, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to your reviews. So without further ado, I will share with you that we have 3 pitches this evening. And at Eureka, we have students pitch at stage 1, 2, and 3. At stage 1, we're looking for your idea, why you have it, why you care about it, and some things you're thinking about as possible solutions for that problem that you want to address. At stage 2, we have all of those things, as well as the pitch will also include what the entrepreneur has done so far. So perhaps talk to customers and developed sometimes a prototype, and otherwise gotten feedback on their ideas. And at stage 3, the prototype has been created, whether it's a business prototype or a physical prototype, and it has been vetted with potential users and stakeholders. They've gotten feedback, reiterated on it, and are much further along in the venture creation process. So we have one of each tonight, and we're going to start with Salma Elboute. We're going to follow up with Gabrielle, Falk, and Julia DiRubbo, and finally we'll end with Justin Gelwix. At the end, we're going to then hear from one of our more advanced student entrepreneurs. And while the reviewers are discussing the outcome of tonight's event, we'll get to talk with Nazr El-Scari, founder of A Sneakerhead's Paradise. So those who are pitching, I will ask you to unmute your audio and share your screen. So please have your deck queued up for that moment. And if I will also time you. So stage 1, Salma, you'll be first and you'll have 3 minutes to pitch. And then we'll have a 3-minute Q&A session. If I could see you, I would ask you to nod and indicate that you're ready, but assuming you are, I'm going to ask you to unmute and queue up your deck, and I will start the timer whenever you tell me that you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay, give me a second. It's loading.
Perfect,
okay.
That looks great. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, you've got 3 minutes, go.
Okay, hi, my name is Salma, and I'm pitching for Salma Skin, which is a skincare brand I want to launch. So as a woman or a girl, or maybe if you're a wife or a girlfriend, her skincare closet or bathroom probably looks something like this. That's kind of what mine looks like. I have like a bunch of products that I just keep buying because I want to try different things to improve my skin. And the skincare industry has pushed this idea that you need 1,000,001 things to actually take care of your skin and to have healthy skin. And what the media industry also does is push this narrative of having perfect skin, and if you use their product, you're gonna have clear skin, no lines, no discoloration, no nothing. When in reality, your skin is the biggest organ in your body, and it takes constant improvement. And minimalistic products, actually, you don't need that many things to actually have healthy skin. And so that was kind of an issue I saw because I had 1,000,001 products, and I was annoyed because when I turned 20, I still have acne, I still have like discoloration, and it wasn't something that changed overnight, and it wasn't something that was going to change overnight. And I felt like I wanted to be confident in myself, but also take care of my skin at the same time. And so what I want to do is I want to provide more minimalistic skincare products with quality ingredients that don't damage your skin, because there are a lot of skincare brands that don't have really good ingredients in them at a little bit of more affordable price than like Sephora and stuff like that. So I want to differentiate my mission versus my vision. So my mission again is to provide quality skincare products, while my vision is to give women and men in that sense more confidence in themselves and in their skin. A lot of people used to tell me like, if you don't see the representation, be the representation. So a lot of my brand, I also want to share my culture and myself. So I want to share my personality with my New York culture, because I'm from New York, and then my Moroccan heritage kind of mixed all together. That's really important to me. And if I get the money, I'll probably use that to subset the cost of forming my LLC, so that I can start like formulations, because formulations are very expensive. And yeah, that's basically it, actually. So yeah.
Okay, you came in 30 seconds under time. And we will move to the Q&A portion. So let's see, you've stopped sharing your screen. So we are
I
good.
can share it again. Oh.
No, we don't need it. That's
Okay.
fine. And our reviewers, are you ready? We have 3 minutes to talk with Salma about her idea.
Yeah, I can go first. Salma, I love this idea. I think skincare is definitely a growing market. One question I have is, when you reference affordable, are you considering organic products or anything with sustainability?
Yeah, I am. So when I say like affordable, I don't mean necessarily like drugstore. I mean more in the sense that it's gonna be within a range that is not really drugstore, but it's not really like support, like not hundreds of dollars, but not like $5, because I really want to put quality like ingredients in my skincare brand, and I want to formulate it myself, and I want to have ownership over my formulations. So to do that, and to obviously have like sustainable packaging, that's going to cost money, and I feel like that will be reflective of within my brand, and people will care about that. And so I want people to care about that, and I also care about that. So that's kind of where I was going with it.
Great. And then another question, is there a specific brand now that you look up to that's in this industry?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple, but one that I've actually really been looking up to is Crave Beauty. They're like a Korean skincare brand, slash they sell in America too, but they're like a Korean skincare brand. And I look to them because not only like does she provide advice for other brands, like she doesn't only like push her brand, she also provides like skincare advice and pushes like more minimalistic and like quality ingredients, quality products. So that's kind of where I saw like inspiration. It's just, again, she's like more Korean, and I kind of want to delve into like a different like aspect of that.
Great, thank you.
I'll go. So I'm not your customer.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea. I love the idea of rationality and sensibility, with awareness that people want to have self-confidence, and people want their health to show, perhaps. And the notion that you're wanting to offer your customers something for them that's not for you, I think that's wonderful. My question, what would you do with your first seed funds? And you said that formulations are expensive, and that makes sense. And so what are your thoughts about how you get started with an endeavor of this kind, given that formulation development is naturally costly?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that actually a lot lately, because I've been having to like see, like I plan to only launch one product again because formulations are expensive. I want to fund it myself too, because I kind of want to I want full ownership of a lot of my stuff. So I guess my idea like right now is just like money I've been saving up and like working to like put that towards like formulations and stuff like that. I feel like for the value of my brand, it's better, like there's private labeling too, where I can just take someone's formulation and like use it and then put my label on it, but that didn't feel right to me. So I think in terms of just like money and stuff, it's just like money that I'm like have saved up, and I do have like a lot of money saved up. And building this type of brand, like I don't want to do like a DIY, because DIY is actually very bad for your skin. I kind of just want to I want it to look put together when I push it out. And so that's again, yeah, going to cost money, but I feel like I'm just going to try to like use the money that I have saved up and kind of put that into it. And then when I do launch, I want to like, I'll just reinvest more money to create more products. And so that's like where my head is at right now.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have for Q&A with you, Salma. Thank you very much. And we hope you'll go back into the audience and watch your fellow entrepreneurs.
Thank you.
So next up, we have Gabrielle Falk and Julia DiRubbo. The Fit Magazine is the name of their venture. You will both be, one of you will be sharing your screen. Is that you, Gabby?
Yeah.
And then we hope that you will both unmute for the Q&A period, or are you both pitching?
Yeah, we are splitting it up. We're both going to talk.
Okay, great. So, so you have 5 minutes, and we are ready when you are.
All right.
Yes, I think we're ready.
Okay, go. You can get started.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to our brand, The Fit Magazine. Our idea started with 6 brown and white reporters, and we had one goal. We realized that Lehigh did not have a creative outlet such as a magazine for students to work on. And we noticed that a few other schools were doing similar things, but there was no specific thing like that at Lehigh and on most other campuses. So some examples of that at SMU, they have a magazine called Look. Penn State has Valley, and Syracuse has University Girl. So today I'm going to be talking about The Fit. I just want to say thank you to everyone at Eureka so far for considering The Fit for funding and mentorship. The Fit, we're an online magazine that we created after we found a need for a lifestyle publication that was essentially non-existent on Lehigh's campus. And we soon realized that very few other college campuses have this niche platform for students to discuss beauty, fashion, and life overall as a college student. We quickly decided that we wanted to expand our idea to other campuses and make our brand inclusive, creating a campus ambassador program for other schools to branch out our publication. We currently have 14 schools represented by The Fit, with a lot of our staff members coming from Lehigh, the University of Michigan, Syracuse, and the University of Wisconsin. And we even have an international presence at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. So for a publication like The Fit, we've been using the last few months kind of as a trial run for our brand to gauge interest and see what the reception would be like before we looked into ways to generate revenue. So after noticing massive success over the summer, we realized that we have a need for funding, as we have a lot of initial startup costs that are going to continue to grow as our brand also grows. So this includes the cost of operating our website, hosting events, and ensuring the longevity of The Fit after the founders graduate. And we're also currently looking into getting an LLC and a trademark for the company, which costs a few $1,000s in legal fees. We don't have revenue at the moment. We plan to soon work to generate revenue for The Fit, as we realize that our project has become successful enough that we can capitalize on it. We ultimately hope to have enough funding to create a print version of our magazine, which can be distributed across the campuses represented under The Fit. And we've operated this company entirely on our own up until this point without mentorship. So we could really benefit from the networking that the Baker Institute provides in terms of marketing our brand and learning how to ultimately generate a profit and recruit new staff members. So Gabby's going to go a little further into detail about our current success and how we can benefit from Eureka's funding and mentorship.
Yeah, so just to give everyone some more insight on The Fit, so these are our numbers to date. So far we've had around 7,000 visitors to our website, and we've gotten so many views on all of our articles. As Julia mentioned, we have over 40 staff members, including internationally. So far we published 64 articles, and we have 951 Instagram followers, which is the main way that we promote our content. And this is what we use when we market how people can join The Fit. We think that much more than beyond the 6 of us that started it, it's really a network and a community for other people, and it also is providing value. A lot of people that are doing stuff for us are writers and designers and marketers, so these are really awesome skills that they can then use when they're applying for jobs. So we just think there's a lot of value here, not only to us, but to everyone in joining, and people have loved being a part of it so far. We've also hosted some online community events over the summer to promote health and wellness. And once it's safe to do so, we really hope that we can do events in person. And these events are really awesome because they've taken us beyond the digital platform and been more in person and personable and really just established a sense of community. These are some of our highlights so far. Definitely our biggest highlight is that a member of our staff was invited to a press conference with Katy Perry, so she got to write about that. We've really just given people a voice and a way to get out their thoughts that they may not have had before, ways to talk about body positivity, birth control fight, just different racial issues. We really want to give everyone a voice and a platform and highlight awesome things going on. And looking forward, we're really excited. We want to improve our website function, which is more expensive to upgrade our website. We would love to have a print publication to have something to hand out and showcase all of our work. We would really love to do in-person events, as I said before, and just expanding and making the fit the best that it can possibly be. So thank you so much, and we hope you like learning about us.
Wonderful. Again, coming in almost up just about 30 seconds under time. This is a well-rehearsed group. We certainly appreciate that. So if you would stop sharing your screen, and so we could see both of you, we are going to start a 5-minute Q&A session.
I'll go first. Thank you. And 40 staff members in 14 universities. Wow. Question. So as I understand it, your staffing model is that you present being a staff writer and maybe being an editor as an opportunity for students who want to write, want to get their ideas out there, want to get their perspective, want to share their experiences. How do you anticipate combining that with the need to create and maintain a brand? And ultimately, I would think the need, therefore, to have an editorial policy. How do you anticipate that working?
So as of right now, we actually have different branches of the FIT. So we have an editorial team specifically just for writing and publishing articles. We have a marketing team doing a lot of our marketing work, completely separate from the editorial team. We have outreach, we have a visual department. So we have people working on different aspects of the company that are completely separate from just those who write.
Yeah, and maybe just another helpful thing to add. We also have disclaimer on our website that we're not affiliated with Lehigh or any other specific campus at the moment, and that everything written is everyone's individual thoughts and ideas, just to cover that basis of the editorial question you asked.
Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick follow-up. So do you anticipate that editorial content might be evolved such that it's different at different schools with different teams, or do you want to have kind of consistency across the brand, across schools?
We're definitely looking for consistency, and so far the people that we have had from other schools, they've been really aligning with what we've had. So okay. We're kind of expecting that the 6 of us are running it for now, and people from other campuses are coming to us, and it's not they're just going to take it off and do something completely different at their school.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Just to add on that, so we have campus ambassadors on each of the campuses, and they kind of manage their own team, but they ultimately report to us. So there's kind of already that established hierarchy to make sure that there is that consistency across all of the different campuses.
I'll jump in. Well, first, I think this is a great idea. I think now more than ever, people are trying to find an outlet to really express themselves. So I think building that community is awesome. I actually used to work for Time Inc., a magazine company, so I'm a little familiar with that space and even the digital presence. And one thing that's definitely tough is really figuring out the revenue, right? So how to source the money and income. So what do you guys feel is going to be a revenue source in this sense?
So at the moment, we have 2 big ideas of where our revenue is going to come from. Once we're able to fund it, we want to have that print publication on campuses that we can sell. And then we also want to work with brands, especially because we're so in the social media realm, to like work with brand deals so that they can also give us money and help fund our brand.
Great. I had another question. Oh, so you mentioned in the beginning, there's a few other schools that have publications via digital or physical magazines. How would you describe this brand as being being different, and how would you really differentiate yourself from them?
Yeah, so I think our biggest defining is just like our mission and our goal. Like, we really loved the name The Fit Magazine when we like found it, because we especially like that when you Google the word fit, there's like so many different definitions and ways that come up. And as you'll notice, we have like outfit, benefit. So that's really the common theme that like united us. And we just like, our overall message is that like everyone's different in their own ways, and we can all like be ourselves, and just highlighting that. So I think that even though there are other similar magazines, like maybe they're promoting more of like all size fits one, or just more similarities, when like we really want to be promoting the idea that like whoever you are is a good thing.
Great.
Okay, wonderful. Again, just in time, the 5 minutes is up, and we'd like to thank you both and look forward to what comes next for the Fit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our final presenter tonight is Justin Gelwicks with his Wood Goods lacrosse venture. Justin is becoming a veteran at all things entrepreneurship at Lehigh, and he'll be pitching at stage 3. So this is the most advanced stage. Justin, you have 7 minutes to pitch, and we are ready once you share your screen.
Can you see my slides?
We can see your slides, and we can see you.
Awesome. So, hi everyone. My name is Justin Gelwicks. I just transferred here last semester from Colby College. In my first semester there, I was mugged coming out of a Walmart. I had a concussion, brain damage, my jaw was knocked out of place. I had to go on medical leave from school for over 2 months. And I played lacrosse for Colby, and my way of saying goodbye was to make sticks for all of my teammates. I used my time on medical leave to take an apprenticeship in fine woodworking, and that's how I did it. Surprisingly, the shafts are stronger than traditional metal or carbon ones, but flex just the same as these high-end carbon sticks, adding power to your shots. Therefore, I marketed my shafts as a more durable, affordable alternative to my competitors who mostly wholesale their products from Alibaba, costing them about $9 per unit, including shipping, but this also means that they're using cheaper materials. I source my wood from the same area that Louisville Slugger sources their ash, and because of this, I was able to build my own wood shop from the profits, and I'm able to turn this rough cut lumber into sticks for only 55 cents per unit. This isn't including my labor, but this is how I'm able to create superior quality products while also undercutting the competition in price. In addition to this, we further differentiate our products by offering custom laser engravings, so players can actually get their names, numbers, and logos engraved right before their eyes. I mean, it's you see a kid see this and it's magical. And I charge $15 additional for this service, and the engraving battery are a slump cost, so that's pretty set. Nearly everyone who buys a stick gets an engraving, which is great. We also have a no questions asked 1-year warranty, which is one of its kind in the defensive shafts market. Pairing this with the fact that all of our products are made in the USA, and 5% of our profits go to the Wounded Warrior Project, American Cancer Society, and the Ocean Cleanup, meant that my sales exceeded my wildest expectations. I made 10 times what I expected to at my first tournament, and I doubled my revenue for the next 2 tournaments. In just 12 weekends, I had made over $27,000. This is based off a 55-cent cost per unit and a $70.49 average sale per stick. So the margins are there for wholesaling and scaling the business for when we go more heavily into the retail market. I originally left school to pursue furniture making and pursue this business and go to trade school. But I was drawn to Lehigh because of the Baker Institute and the Wilbur Powerhouse and all the awesome resources that you guys provide. And I'm glad I'm enrolled because COVID-19 has taken a huge toll on sales. But despite new regulations at tournaments, such as 1 parent per player, half as many teams as attendance, and kids getting out of the cars, playing back-to-back games and leaving. We made over $1,000 every weekend and over $2,500 for the most recent weekend. Yes, this is objectively less than the first year, but it's far, far greater than what I expected to sell this summer due to the situation. This is in part due to the improvements we made since last winter. Firstly, that's new advertising equipment, which I have Baker help pay for. And it really feels like for the first time people are walking up and buying things without having me to explain my product to them, which is really, really important for scaling the business. Tying into scaling the business is my first long-term employee, Pat. I've been bringing Pat on to these tournaments and paying him 10% of the profits, even though I don't really need his help given the decrease in sales. But I feel like it'll be a worthy investment to train him to event his own tournaments next summer. And finally, we have the custom engraved wooden sunglasses, which I added to my product line, and I sold way more than I expected to. I'm selling 100 of these in just 3 weekends. So you can engrave your initials, your team logo, your number, anything you want in there. And after seeing this increase in sales, I knew I wanted to expand my product line further, but it was very important to be conservative with this and not stray too far from my brand image. For example, I tried to sell metal sunglasses that could not be engraved just because they were cheap and I thought they were cool. It's an item that did not fit in my brand image at all. And over 2 tournaments, I didn't sell a single pair. So I completely removed them from my product line, and I'm looking to add products that complement rather than confuse people at these tournaments. So the next product will be traditional sticks. These are replicas of what Native Americans used to play with. They're very affordable to produce in terms of materials, but there's a massive amount of time capital that goes into making each one. That's why they have such high margins. However, I thought up a way to use a computer-generated CNC mill to completely automate this process, meaning that I have to do none of the work other than string things, which doesn't take that much time, and I can prototype right here on campus as we have the equipment to do so, which is awesome. I've already created my first 6 of these, and they sold rather quickly, proving that there's a market there, but I stopped making them due to the time capital that goes into making them because these were all handmade. After that, we have custom card wallets and water bottles tying into our custom wood brand image, tapping into the "I'm sorry, Mom, I forgot my water bottle at home" market as well. Going forward, we also have some cool hat merch to throw on our brand because people will pay anything for a warm hat at these freezing fall and winter tournaments. And people will also just buy anything because it has the word lacrosse on it, which is honestly surprising to me. I've capitalized on the goals that I set out after last year's pitch competition. I've worked really hard to make a big impact with the money that I was given. After building the site, I realized that we needed to purchase plugins so that customers can customize and see the final product online, similar to like custom ink or anything like that, just for sticks or for sunglasses and our other products. I also realized that we need to greatly increase my social media presence. As you can see, we only have 230 followers on our Instagram. I've been kind of neglecting it, which is kind of one of my regrets now that I'm starting to get more into online sales because of the pandemic. And in order to do so, I would need to purchase a follower bot as well as run ads through Instagram. This would help establish our product for team orders, which, if done correctly, can be incredibly rewarding. And that's like the next step as we're going into fall for my timeline that I set out. So I'm an alumni of Team 91, which is the biggest and most respected recruiting team in the country. And I've been talking to the program manager about doing sticks for them this holiday season. This one order alone would amount to $95,000. I've already been producing sticks in preparation for this large order. And if I can pull this off, even with just say the high school teams for not 7, but maybe 2 regions, it would be absolute game changer for my business. And it would really take me to a place that I wasn't there before. There are countless other teams that I can do this with, but first I need to get my website up. So that's where my ask comes in. I need to get my website looking as pristine as possible. I need a connection with maybe a social media marketing expert, if there is one, and $1,000 to go towards AdWords, follower bots, and Instagram. And thank you. That's
very good. That's it.
Should I exit sharing my screen, or is there any slides that I should review?
No, you can exit.
Okay.
That's fine. Thanks, Justin. All right, so we're going to talk about it with our reviewers for about 5 more minutes.
Great. Alan, do you want to start or do you want me to?
You go first since you're on the screen.
Well, Justin, I love this idea. I actually played lacrosse at Lehigh, so I'm very familiar with those tournaments and always trying to find the next best beanie or whatever there is there. So I'm definitely curious about your plan as far as product development, and it sounds like you definitely have a market and it's growing. So as far as manufacturing this for wholesale, how do you really see that working?
Okay, this is an awesome question. The misconception is that I can't produce that many of these, when in reality, because of the investment that I made in my industrial wood shop, which was a huge amount of capital, I can make over 200 sticks per day. And if I sell 200 sticks per day, I will happily make 200 sticks per day. But to make that volume of sticks, it's scalable. And if it ever gets to that point where I'm selling that many and making millions of dollars, I'll be happy to invest in an employee who can sit on a table saw and help me with those. And I'll just double my production at that point, which would be pretty straightforward. But yeah, awesome question.
Great. And then another question I have is as far as different products. I know you mentioned that you're looking into making more accessories. I'm curious why the traditional stick? That seemed to be one of the items. Who is your market there?
Okay, so my market for that is the wealthy people who want to shell out for something beautiful. Like the whole point of this brand to start off with was I didn't try to make a wooden stick because it is high performance because of that. It was because it has that, but I wanted to tie in with the historical significance of lacrosse, like the dying history of like Native American culture and recreating the wood sticks, because the wood stick manufacturers are dying out, and they're not really attending tournaments as much, and that's why in part I've been doing so well. And the traditional sticks are a huge symbol of that culture and the history of the game. So it's really to anyone who appreciates the game. It could be the parent who played lacrosse. It could be the coach who wants a team gift from everyone. It could be any kid who wants the traditional sticks. So my target market, I've got a few, but it's pretty narrow in the fact that it's really lovers of the game, you know.
Got it. Thank you.
So Justin, thank you. And I think you just began to answer my question, my key question, but maybe I'll try to draw a little more out. So I love wood, so hard to be critical. But I want to get some clarity on what you're selling here, what your value proposition. So I see a $300 stick, I see a $30 stick. I hear maybe intimations of performance that merits $300. And I hear references to the deep, older than the nation, right, history of the game. And then I see water bottles. So are we developing a brand with a feel? Are we centered on the highest possible performance at a decent price? Tell me what you're selling.
This is the best question you could have possibly asked, because the market before wood shafts are not like hockey sticks. Like in the hockey market, there is carbon sticks, and wood shafts are known as an inferior good. Because of its historical significance, they're not seen that way in the lacrosse industry. But what no one had done from a business perspective, because no one had used high enough quality wood or high enough craftsmanship, is wood is essentially carbon. Carbon sticks command like $300 premiums. Like you said, they're the highest performance sticks, and people will pay up the wazoo to get those sticks because they have that performance. So, but they break all the time. I had a friend that broke 4 of these carbon sticks in 4 practices. They're super fragile. Wood is 1 ounce heavier, it's stronger, and it flexes just the same. But I sell my sticks at a 1/5 the price. They are the most affordable shaft on the market, bar none, and they flex, giving you harder shots. If you can deal with the 1 ounce heavier stick, which isn't that much in my opinion, it's not for everyone. Someone might want the lightest possible stick. Someone might want 4 ounces instead of 5 ounces. That's not my target audience. My target audience is someone who doesn't really care, who thinks it's beautiful, who wants their name engraved, who can get 3 sticks instead of that 1 carbon stick. And they do. And that's why I offer the warranty, because I've only had I've sold over 500 sticks and I've only had 6 returns. So that's pretty good. So I'm really approaching people who want to, it's like an easy buy, you know, it's a very justifiable buy that people can try out as opposed to carbon, because it has that same flex performance. And then to answer your question about my value proposition and how water bottles tie into the wooden sticks, the truth is they don't, you know, but I need to maintain a complete brand image while expanding my product line. So I'm expanding into traditional sticks. The water bottles are just there as like a side item. It's like a walk by. People, there are people who are like, I need a water bottle. And a wooden water bottle that's laser engraved will not take away from my brand image. Something like metal sunglasses will. People will come by and say, oh, I can engrave my water bottle. That's so cool. And then they'll buy a stick. No one's going to come by, look at metal sunglasses and say, I can engrave my stick, you know? So that's where that ties in. And I knew it would be essential to my brand image to maintain products that maintain some wood custom aspect to them at very least.
How are we on time, Lisa? Oh, you were muted.
We can go another question.
And I have a printer running in the background, but I'm going to ask a sensitive question. You made reference to the heritage. I could ask you about the decimation of ash trees in Pennsylvania. We'll set that aside. You probably know about that. In the lacrosse community, is there
for me to produce like wooden sticks?
Well, no, I'm going to ask you a tougher question. That we're all processing, I think. So lacrosse is a game that did we borrow it? Did we appropriate it? It was a name from the people who lived on our land before we got here, and we've systematized it in boxes and measured fields and so on. And so in appealing to that heritage, how should we process navigating that territory, and how does the lacrosse community, the westernized white lacrosse community, process that, and how does that relate to your thinking about the company?
Yeah, and that's a really tough question because they're so different, and I wouldn't say they're polarized, but there's the new age of lacrosse that's closed fields. It's not like miles open fields, hundreds of players playing for the love of the game and for like respect for their creator, their god. And the best way I can answer your question is lacrosse has become what it has become, and I'm trying my best to still be able to be in that market while preserving some of the history that is lacrosse. So I want, that history is dying, that it's fading away, and people feel that, like people who are really into lacrosse feel that. And while it's not my whole market, like people who love, like Native Americans come up to me all the time and they say that they love what I'm doing, because even though it's not like directly connected to the original creator, like the traditional sticks are, that's why I'm trying to introduce the traditional sticks, because they have that history and that culture. It's to integrate that sense of the history and the culture, that little bit, if anything, and to provide that to an audience and keep that dialogue going, even though it's a dilution of what it was before, with just the shafts. But that's why I'm trying to go into more traditional sticks, so that that's a complete symbol of the history and the culture, and that will help preserve that even better, much better.
Thank you, Justin. Well done, all three entrepreneurs this evening. We're now going to ask Lauren and Alan to step out of this webinar and into the reviewers room in another Zoom link, and we'll see you back here shortly. Thanks so much. And we are going to spend the next several minutes while the reviewers are deliberating meeting Nazr El-Scari, the founder of A Sneakerhead's Paradise. Nazr took a year away from school in order to pursue his venture full time. and has moved the needle on his success greatly. He's come back after having been a full-time founder to now being a full-time founder and a full-time student. So Nazr, if you would take some time and share with us what you want us to hear, we would love to know.
Alrighty. First of all, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me give everyone an update. It feels good to be back in the Lehigh space as a student. I think a lot of times when you go from school into the real world, you forget about all the learning that is still possible once you enter the real world, and how there's not bumpers like there are in college and in school. So a lot of things that I learned over the past year were kind of trial and error, but I think that I benefited from it greatly. A couple of the huge things that happened over my time off is that we got our first official investment through a Lehigh alum, and that really helped us do a lot, because it gave us a confidence as my team. It gave us a confidence that it's not that we didn't have it, but that when you're searching for funding, it's kind of hard to believe in your idea when it's like, oh, the people with the money aren't believing in it. And it's like, should we change it? Should we do something? And I tell my team all the time that I just appreciate that they stuck to their guns and stuck with me through those hard times, and allowed me to figure it out while they were trying to figure other stuff out as well. So that was a huge moment for us. Another big thing is that we got to really test a lot of our assumptions with our market. So once we got that investment, our idea was, let's redo the website from scratch. Let's open everything up, and let's see what kind of customers we can bring on. And we brought on, we actually met our target goal and exceeded it by a few customers. And we learned a lot about our platform. We learned a lot about how to better communicate what it is that we do. We learned a lot about how our customers are considering shopping with us, and what types of things that they need in order to feel confident in as my mom would say, voting with their dollars. So entrusting us with their money to be able to provide a service. And so a lot of those things were really amazing for us. And we also invested in the business. So we got a huge piece of software that we had been talking about for a long time to better help us acquire sneakers for our customers and do things like that. So we really kind of ramped it up in a lot of different spaces. And as we transitioned back into school and analyzed a lot of the marketing campaigns and things that we did, it was about, beefing up our infrastructure and our organization, being better at posting consistently on social media, and all of those other things. So it was just an amazing time, a huge eye opener as well in what it's like to really be a founder in real life. Because, I didn't have those guards, and I didn't have those, safety nets to kind of catch me when I made the wrong decision. And so it was just kind of like,
let me stop you here for a second, because we may have some folks on the Zoom call who don't know about your company. Would you give us your elevator pitch?
Yes. So a Sneakerhead's Paradise is a sneaker concierge service that aims to provide a personalized experience in order for customers to get the sneakers that they want below market prices. And so this is important because a lot of the sneakers in the sneaker market go out for sale, and they sell out in a matter of minutes, sometimes between 1 to 5 minutes, and at most 10 minutes after they release. And then once they release and sell out, they enter a resale market in which a lot of the sneakers that are super highly sought after and sold out quickly, you usually see their price jump anywhere between 100% of their retail price upwards of 500% of their retail price. So you can get a sneaker that originally cost $100, and once it enters the resale market, it costs $1,000. So, and what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to, allow customers who really want the sneakers and really want to wear the sneakers an opportunity at a chance to get those at a cheaper price, because not everybody can afford $1,000 sneakers. Otherwise, everybody would be wearing a lot of the designers that they have out now. And so we're trying to bring some of that equity and equality back into the sneaker industry for collectors.
Great. Well, I invite all participants who have questions for Naz to put them in the chat, And in the meantime, I'm going to ask you to just reflect a little bit on how you're finding balancing your school work with your venture work.
I will be very honest. The first week, it was tough. Of course, you know, we've all been through a very trying time with the pandemic, and being able to spend a lot of time by myself and just working on my business, and that being really the only thing I focused on, switching gears to having the focus to school was tough. And that is where like my team came in just amazingly. I was able to lean on them so much and just be honest with them about where I was in school and trying to get back into the fold of things. And you know, I can't say enough about how much they really helped me get back into the swing of things and helped me get balanced with making the transition back into school. So that support system was important for me, and I really appreciate them for that.
Well, it's a tough thing, but we're so glad you're back. So you mentioned briefly that you have gotten your first real investment, and that it was through or by a Lehigh alum, and without disclosing names, I'd like you to expand a little bit on what your experience has been with, you know, this amazing alumni network that we have, and sort of tapping into that. Clearly we have facilitated that and are starting to do that for more students. But tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so just real quick, the first time I met my investor was actually at a Eureka pitch competition. And so that's why I tell people all the time, even if you don't have the idea fully flushed out, you never know who's going to be there. So don't be afraid to just go out there and pitch it, because somebody may love it and somebody may want to support that. And so while that's not the only reason why you should pitch because you really want to work on this idea and you really want to see it happen. But you never know who's in the audience. So for me, it was just kind of one of those situations where we pitched, he believed in our team, and he didn't even know about the market to the extent that he knows about it now, but it was the work that we had been doing. It was the time that we had put into the business that he believed in. And he knew that because of the way we worked as a team, no matter if we were struggling with one area now, or he didn't really fully understand it, he knew that we were willing to put in the work for that. And so the experience has just been amazing. And aside from just my investor, but all of the Lehigh alum that I've gotten in contact with through the Baker Institute, they've just been so helpful and such a resource in really helping me figure out, you know, again, how to balance a personal life and be an entrepreneur while in school, you know, how to increase your social media following, or how to better, you know, frame how you talk about your business so that you can bring more customers into the fold. And it's one of those things that are hard to see on paper, but you understand once you're in the fold of things that this alumni network is expansive and that they're willing to help. And you know, all you have to do is be honest about where you are and try to communicate with them what you need, and somebody will be able to help you. So it's been an amazing experience.
Well, we have a question from someone in the audience whose name I hope I'll get right, Lais Janela Marquez dos Santos. Pardon me if I got that wrong, but I hope I got close. So the question is, where do you see the connections between classroom and the real world in a business aspect?
In a business aspect, I'm gonna be honest with you. The biggest thing I learned is that you're not gonna always enjoy doing everything. Kind of like homework. You know, you get it, you're assigned it, you're not always happy about it, but it's something you have to do to achieve your end goal. Things like accounting, things like, you know, having to do certain reports or having to have certain information on hand readily available are things that I was kind of like, I don't really want to do this, but it's like, you know, if you want to succeed, you know, you have to do the things you don't want to do just as good as you do the things that you want to do. And that really shows who you are as a person and as a learner and as a business person. And not only that, but your network is your net worth. You know, I heard that a lot. You know, I believed in it, but you don't really truly know what that's like, as I said before, until you're in it. And like I was saying about the Lehigh alumni network, just being able to lean on different people in different industries and different areas to give you ideas when you're stuck on something, because when you think about it all the time, it's like, oh, like I've exhausted every possible idea. And then you just run it by somebody who has no idea what you're doing, and they give you something like, oh, that was actually so simple. And so it's just that collaborative idea that you see in group projects and things like that. That was one of my favorite parts about just doing it full time, is being able to work with people all the time towards one goal. And so that was a few of the things that I saw as crossover between being in class and being in the real world.
So just to expand on that, can you talk a little bit about what it was like when you were in school before you took your year with your peers, your fellow student entrepreneurs? You participated in some Baker programs where you developed a nice group of fellow students who are also trying to create ventures. Have you continued to interact with them? What's that look like?
Yes. So actually, there's a few people I've stayed in touch with. I did a few independent studies before I took my time off, and some of the people I met through there are doing crazy things and doing awesome things. And so we kind of stay in touch together. One of my old business teammates who's doing her own thing with Venture of America, we stay in touch all the time. And so it's just, again, your network is your network. I cannot stress that enough. And being able to be around other like-minded people who want to go and pursue things that other people haven't thought about pursuing yet, or want to create things that other people can't really see or understand at the moment. Being able to have a network of people who understand what it's like to kind of be on the cusp of a new idea where other people don't understand it, gives you kind of peace and confidence in being able to move forward with your idea, because not everybody's going to understand it. And that's one thing that I think was the biggest thing that I learned while in Baker, and then especially transitioning into doing it full time, is that, it's okay if not everybody gets it, as long as your customer gets it. And then if your main customer doesn't get it, then you need to kind of reframe how you talk about it. But if your customer gets it, but the other people don't, that's okay, because those aren't the people who are buying from you anyway. So just that network is important, and being able to have like-minded people it helps your journey, especially in the hardships, when you realize other people are going through it too. So that was an important part for me as well.
So for those founders like our first presenter today, who are starting off completely by themselves with this vision, this passion, and this talent, what would you say about being a solo entrepreneur, or bringing on partners versus bringing in future employees? How did you navigate that?
Lisa knows well than anybody else. When I first came into Lehigh University, especially in the Baker, I did not want to work with anybody. I was like, my ideas are mine. I don't want to share them. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. And it was actually through the hatchery program that I saw all these other teams interacting. And again, like I mentioned before, when you're just hitting a wall on ideas by yourself and you cannot get past them, that's when it's like the best time to have a team. Is because you can get pretty far by yourself, but everybody's going to hit that plateau to where they're going to be like, I need other people to lean on in order to see this grow and in order to, get my idea fully out there. And so if you're not ready to have a team, that's understandable, because that's a whole job in itself, being able to, organize people and have them all focused on the same goal. But the moment you feel that, you're kind of stuck and you're not able to get past kind of the plateaus you're on, that's exactly when I would, recommend considering, even for a short time, just being honest with your friends, like, hey, like, you have a skill that I think I could really leverage in this, and I need some help. Like, would you be willing to help me? And that's really where my team came from at first. It was just, I had a lot of friends who were like, hey, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'll try to help you. And at first I was like, I don't need any help. And then I was like, you're better at this than I am. I need your help. So, being honest about where you are in your venture and about what you need help on is really the first step of creating a team that supports and believes in you. Because if you're a know-it-all and you know everything and you can do everything by yourself, you don't need a team. But, you know, being vulnerable and being honest with yourself and with others about where you are and what you need help on, that makes it easier for people to believe in you, because they're like, okay, he's being honest about how he feels in something that he started. And so he's bringing us on as somebody he trusts. And that's important. And my team knows that I believe in them and I trust them with all my life. So, you know, that was important for me to find out too.
That's 100% a journey that you resisted at first, and then once you finally embraced it, there was no stopping you. And in fact, in terms of your being recognized, you were recently recognized by the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center as a face of entrepreneurship, which is an honor that they bestow on entrepreneurs from around the country, or maybe even around the world. So congratulations on that. What was that like?
Surprising. Look, to be honest, you know, it's you know, sometimes you have it when you're just starting off, that imposter syndrome. Like, this is something I've always wanted to do in my life, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm where I want to be immediately, and it's a journey. So, you know, there's no timeline on that. I think that's one of the things Lehigh Silicon Valley opened up for me too. You had people who are, you know, 60, 70 started new ventures, and they're just like, hey, it's something that I felt like I wanted to do. And so there's no timeline on success. And so being recognized for the work that I have put in the short amount of time that I've been doing it, I felt very, very honored and very surprised, because I was like, me? Like, I'm not even where I think I should be yet. And so it was one of those kind of heat check moments where you realize, like, wow, I have been putting the work in, and I have been committed to this idea, and I have been bringing people into the fold. And so, again, that support and other people seeing the work that I do, even if I don't see it myself, it's something that was just amazing. And I was super appreciative. So it was a great experience.
Well, we were certainly proud of you, and we're sharing that out as much as we can.
Thank you.
And for everybody who might be on that doesn't know, especially if we have some first-year students, the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco is part of the NASDAQ Stock Exchange Foundation, which is committed to promoting entrepreneurship and providing for entrepreneurs that which they need around the world. And in addition to that center, Lehigh University has a partnership there called Lehigh at NASDAQ Center, where we are their in-residence academic partner. And when the world opens up again, we will be able to revisit the fact that we have an actual home there in San Francisco on the West Coast. We call it Lehigh's Living Room in San Francisco. And so there is both the partnership Lehigh at NASDAQ Center and then the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. And I will tell you, Nazr, that you were not selected as a face of entrepreneurship because you were a student at Lehigh. You were truly selected through the process in which they winnow down their candidates and choose who they're going to honor. So I think you should be proud of that.
Thank you.
So I'm sure our reviewers are going to be back with their findings any minute. But in the meantime, I thought I would share a couple of things with everyone. On September 24th and 30th from noon to 1, we're doing a program we're calling Baker 101, where you can learn about every program we offer. Nazr mentioned some of them. He mentioned the hatchery. He mentioned Lehigh Silicon Valley. There are others that we will talk about, but it's going to be very much like this, a panel of students talking about their experience. So they're on the 24th and 30th from noon to 1 in Zoom, of course. Also at LehighBaker.com, LehighBakerInstitute.com, our website, there is a calendar which indicates everything that we are offering, and the dates and times and program links, and really everything you could possibly want to know about the Baker Institute at our website. So you can register for things there and you can learn about what's happening. Another exciting thing that we're going to be organizing is, again, a Baker 101 type program where you'll learn about us, but you'll learn about it by going on a journey, a virtual journey around campus to learn about the resources that we have. So, so those are exciting opportunities, especially for first-year students, to learn about what we do. Lehigh Silicon Valley is a program that occurs over the January term. Before the pandemic, we had 9 years of taking 56 students out to the Bay Area to understand and become immersed in the culture of the venture-backed company and what it's like to be a founder in that world. This year is our 10th anniversary, and we will be celebrating in a whole new way. It will be an opportunity for current students to enroll in the course Lehigh Silicon Valley, and for former Lehigh Silicon Valley students to participate as alumni. We'll be bringing back former rock star presenters. We'll be bringing back former instructors from LSV, and it's going to be a big, giant party. So there are, with some hard work included for those who are enrolled. But those info sessions start October 6th and run through the month. Applications will be due early November, and there's a whole lot of information about that on our website. I have a question in from Salma, our first presenter, actually a statement. She interned with the NASDAQ Center over the summer with the help of Lehigh and was allowed to help and nominate future entrepreneurs. I think it's important to know that even though people might not personally know you, they can still recognize your efforts and accomplishments. That's awesome, Salma. And I wonder if you were you inspired by your internship there to move into the world of being a startup founder? I don't know if you can unmute. Sam, can we promote Salma to panelist? Sure, I can do that. I can try. Here we go. All right, Salma, would you unmute and just tell us a little bit more about your experience?
Yeah, I interned. So I would say my summer internship with the NASDAQ Center gave me like my push, because I was always planning to own my own business eventually. Like, it was something that I knew since I was in high school, but I feel like because of the pandemic, and like I was actually supposed to go to California and intern in their office, I was kind of like rethinking everything that I was doing in school. And I was like, you know what, like talking, they have a lot of workshops, and I was attending the workshops while I was working there. And they were just kind of like, I don't know, like just listening to other entrepreneurs. And I specifically worked with the marketing team. So I had like firsthand into the Futures of Entrepreneurship newsletter and like the people that were on there. And I was just like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna start now because I don't feel like it just gave me the push, and I was like, I don't feel like waiting any longer to like start. Like I feel like I can do this now and at least like gain insight now, and then if I want to like launch later, I can do that later. So that was kind of where it came from.
Well, Nazr started in high school. So, you know, he acted on that while he was in high school and probably learned a lot in that, you know, in that time, and then brought it into his college experience. So we're happy to know that you're starting now, whether it was because you were inspired by being at the NASDAQ Center or not. So were you part of Startup Academy?
Yeah, I did Startup Academy. So yeah.
And your major is what, Salma?
I'm a management major with a concentration in entrepreneurship. So yeah.
Wonderful. And so Startup Academy isn't a program we'll be talking about at Baker 101 because it's actually run by the College of Business and the Lehigh at NASDAQ Center. And also it's only open to students in the College of Business. So the programs at Baker are open across the board to students in any college or major. And those are the programs that we will be talking about at the Baker 101 sessions. But we're happy to hear that you had a great experience. And I'm getting a message in Slack that I'm wondering if is from the reviewers. So let me check. Let's see. What do we got? Nope. And yeah, so just to remind everyone, if you do think about pitching at some point, it's really important to remember that you're only pitching against the stage, the criteria in the stage in which you are pitching. and not against each other. So there's never a time when there's only one winner. What there is a time where a student might have pitched at a stage 2 and didn't meet the criteria for stage 2, and then they'll still get a coaching session to be able to come back and try again. And same with the other stages. So it's really important, and we think it provides some safety, a safety net a little bit, to allow you to have the confidence to come pitch early and often. So you heard Justin tonight. Justin has pitched several times at different stages. And what we ask when student entrepreneurs come back to pitch again is to tell us how you did with the resources that we already gave you. Where did you get? Why did you do the things that you did? And then why are you here? And what do you need? So we're really about what did you need? That is, or what do you need in your project to get further? So I do have the results of the deliberations, and I will share with you now. So pitching at stage 1, Salma is a go for her project. She will be meeting with Chris to talk about the resources and mentorship opportunities that will be coming her way. Second, the fit. The reviewers have determined that mentorship is absolutely in your future. The money is not necessarily a likely outcome at this point, but again, you'll be meeting with Chris to sort of unpack your needs and determine how to move forward. So we'll be in touch with you about that. And Justin, this time around, the reviewers have determined that the additional products has confused your brand and your product line, and they would like to see you kind of go back to the drawing board with some further rationale. So we're going to, of course, have you continue with Chris and talk about what to do next. So thank you, everyone. Congratulations to Salma and the fit. And Sam, I will just ask, are you wanting to get a screenshot of the stage 1 and stage 2 teams?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, so if you could have the 3 of you back on screen.
All right, I'm going to do a countdown 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to take a screenshot, and I appreciate this. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations, everyone. And we look forward to seeing what you do next. And we will be in touch about next steps.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You too.